What? What's good, Council of Comics? We're doing Mandalorian, episode number 6.
Yeah, we got 2 more.
Yeah, it's getting good. All right, let's go.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? As soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life.
All right, let it out.
What a delightful and charming episode.
I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. There's
Yeah,
parts of it.
There's parts I hated.
There's parts of it I didn't like,
And there's
but it
parts I
wasn't like
loved.
yes.
You know what I mean?
I tell you what. So I mean, we'll go over the plot. So it opens on whatever they're called, the squid face people.
Mm-hmm.
They're out in space, and there's a ship approaching. They think it's the Imperials. We later find out that it's Bo-Katan's former army.
Mm-hmm.
And they're retrieving a prisoner who we find out is the boyfriend of the captain. And I feel like, and you guys can tell me if you feel different, that plot was very throwaway.
But it won't be.
I think that's going to be big. I think that's going to
come back.
I think that's going to cause a war going forward. I think that's going to be another major
could.
plot point.
It could.
That's my prediction. I could be way wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen.
My thing for this episode, I'll just say my favorite part: the good cop, bad cop.
It was interesting.
With Mando and Bo-Katan.
It's interesting.
There was what I was just a little bit off because I was like, damn, Mando's back to hating droids again. I thought he was kind of off that. I mean, I like the fact that he's like, you're gonna tell us everything that we need to know. This is out there, nothing. I like that. But then I thought about it and I was like, I thought he was over that though.
Well, R5
You know
gave up his location, so that did not endear him to droids.
Yeah. I tell you what made me laugh though was the scene with the big hulking battle droids, these ones.
Yep.
The Clone Wars.
The
Yep.
Clone Wars ones.
And the skinny
They're walking
Clone War
by
guys.
and he's kicking them, and
Yeah, that
it
was
all
cool.
it reminded me of. You ever see those?
He's like, wait a minute, hold on, stop.
Well, there's that, but you ever see the videos of that Boston robotics lab?
Yeah.
And the ones that can get back up on their own, and,
Yeah.
and I'm just going, don't do that, man. It's gonna turn any second now. Don't knock it off, man. And then it did. But
Yeah.
and
So
those things can move. I was surprised how fast that thing could run.
this is a big episode, and I'll talk about some of the stuff of why the Mandalorian went this way from online news.
Okay.
But this is big in the sense that, okay, in the beginning of the episode, they got to find the fleet. They got to find the Mando. She's got to convince them to join her.
She knows where they are, though, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they go to the planet where they're at, and they want to go see them immediately, but no, the royalty wants to see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go to see royalty, and it's Jack Black
and Lizzo.
and Lizzo. And I was in the chat like, Jack Black, Lizzo, Christopher Lloyd.
I was okay with Jack Black. I think he was a little over the top, but I
Yeah,
liked
I was-
his costume. I think it looked cool.
I was
Yeah.
overall okay with it, and every once in a while, like these Star Wars shows are gonna have a special guest, like
We had Tim Meadows recently.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
Tim Meadows. Like Machete was in the Book of
Yeah.
Boba
I
Fett.
really
Yeah.
thought the squid lady at the beginning, it sounded like Rachel Weisz's voice. It wasn't. I looked it up, but I thought that's who it was. I'm like, did they sneak another one in on us?
Could have been.
It wasn't. I looked it up on
Oh,
IMDb.
okay.
It's
Does
something
Rachel Weisz want to be snuck in? That's what I want to know.
Who doesn't want to be at Star Wars at this point, right?
Who doesn't?
Some
Right?
people.
How do you turn down Star Wars?
Right.
For
So-
whatever
It's
reason?
possible.
Even
Yeah,
Daniel Craig put on a helmet. They don't even show his face, and he's
Yes.
in Star Wars.
So,
Kevin
yeah, I
Smith's
get
in
it. You know,
too.
like
Yeah,
it didn't take away anything from the show. For
No,
me.
it didn't for me. I was
it
like,
didn't.
this is wacky. This is wild.
Christopher
Star
Lloyd
Wars.
took me out of it a little bit.
He
Took me out of
He
it.
was great too.
I
He was
love
okay.
him.
I thought he was cool.
The videos of the droids malfunctioning was fun. The trash droid made me laugh hysterically. That one, and then the one that drove the speeder into the wall. I thought it was gonna pee my pants. I was laughing so hard.
So, the royalty won't let them see the Mandalorians because they want to ask them to do something for them.
Well, because they can't have an army because of something.
Some rule that they made,
Right.
some law. They
A
can't.
treaty they
Yeah.
signed.
But they're Mandalorians, so it's part of their culture to be warlike. So
Correct.
they're
So they
allowed.
have their weapons.
They're allowed to have their weapons.
Right.
So they're like, we're having
Okay,
this
but okay, let's be clear. Those rules apply to the droids. The Mandalorians are there because they're paying them to be their army because there's nothing in the treaty that says they can't pay others for defense. So one
But
thing
they
is about
can't-
their
right.
treaty, and one thing is about the rules for the droids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can't. The Mandalorians can't enter the city as part of that treaty either, right? Isn't that the deal? They can only defend the outer, like they can defend the plants
not sure.
attacked, but they can't.
They could come in the city on business,
Can they? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I missed that. Okay.
So
which is why these two
well,
are.
those two I think were separate, so they're their guests, so they're allowed.
Yeah,
to
but they
do
were
whatever
still
want.
identified by the computer system as Mandalorian.
but remember, they're guests.
Right. So
But
it's
they're
not.
not.
It's not.
They didn't tell them to. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's
So
like
that's
on the low.
that's
We
that
have this
you can get
problem
around-
that
yeah,
needs
that-
to get solved.
right.
And we think that
Whereas
you
if
could
they
be
ask the
ones that
army to
solve
do it, it's different.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So the droids are going bad. Something's going on. There's different incidents with the droids. They're turning into murder droids or whatever.
Well, they've all been reprogrammed because they were all battle droids, and
Yeah.
they're just malfunctioning.
And the prince, Jack Black, oversaw the reprogramming.
Yeah.
How about the hibachi one?
The
The
Hibachi.
hibachi one was pretty damn funny too.
So they go to the main control center
Yes,
where we see
Christopher
Christopher
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Great Scott, Christopher Lloyd. I like seeing him there. But he's like, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just people are lazy. You know, everybody, the droids do everything for
Yes.
them, blah, 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 so forth. So he gives them, I think he gives them some little piece of information. Because they leave there to go
To go to the
wherever things
He goes and
happen.
talks to the Ugnaughts.
Yes. So they go to talk to the Ugnaughts, and then Ugnaughts are not trying to talk to Bo-Katan,
Right.
and none of them. But then remember
Yeah.
that Mando
I have spoken.
befriended, that Ugnaught, and they knew him.
I did love how he spoke. Just
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
like, I have spoken. I was like, okay, that's a good way to link them all. So, you know, they're very proud about their work. They don't like being told
That they're wrong.
that they're wrong and all
Or made
that.
mistakes.
But once they know that he's cool, they're like, all right, here's a list of the things, the ones that are going wrong.
Right.
So then they go and search for these one little pieces. And they start going into different places, and it's good cop, bad cop. Bo-Katan's like, yo, you gotta chill. And Mando's just like grabbing droids, like, because they go into the bar. It was the droid
Well,
bar.
that's later.
That's later.
That's later.
By the way,
Oh,
the
there's
good
just
cop,
something-
bad cop is very effective.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because and good storytelling because it's very genuine. They're not playing good cop, but
Yeah, I don't-
good
yeah.
cop, bad cop. He is bad cop. She is good cop.
Yeah.
And I think he's. I think he's just being bad cop, and she's like, all right, if you're doing that, I'm gonna go with the other.
No, because in the
I don't think
bar,
I don't think they had a conversation about it.
no, they didn't have a conversation about it, of course. But in the bar, it's very bad cop, good cop.
Yeah, oh,
Because
absolutely.
he is like ready to shut it all down, and she's like, Mando, like they have real thoughts and feelings. Please, like let's not do that.
Mhm.
You know, like let's actually listen to him. It looks like he wants to help. Like it's all very genuine. And the robot's scared. The robot's like, please just don't come
Well,
here.
he comes
Just-
out and says, we want to help.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they don't want to get blamed for stuff.
Well, they don't want to be shut down either.
Yeah. And they're not really drinking in there.
Well, didn't they
They're
say
they're-
we'll be
They
replaced
got
by
the- they
humans
got
too?
like those
Yeah, they'll be
IVs
replaced,
of
yeah.
oil.
You know, the flip side is they'll be replaced by humans, which is
Yeah.
we're always we're going to be replaced by robots. I loved, and I don't know if I'm sure it was obvious to you guys, was when they walk in, and everybody turns and it goes dead silent. It threw me all the way back to New Hope.
New Hope. Yeah.
When they walk in with the droid and we don't serve their kind in here, and it was
Mhm.
almost I was waiting for the bartender to say that to
Yeah,
him, like we don't serve your kind in here.
Yeah. But they
Um,
can't because they're programmed to serve humans.
Right.
It's just why would a human be in our bar?
Right.
Like it's. But you're right. No, like that's a really great mirror and really well done.
So the droids give them a little piece of information.
Well, they chase down the battle droid that has the chip. Remember? And he's like, we found this.
Right, because this stuff
No,
is floating around in their drinks. And the
Right.
stuff floating around their drinks, they find out from the one technician dude, are actually like
Yeah.
nanodroids.
Yes.
And so it's like, oh, nanodroids are floating around and messing with them. So it's really a good like
Yeah.
SVU
Yeah.
like style, well, not SVU, but you know what I mean, Law and Order
Yeah.
style
And they figured
episode.
it out by going to that factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they talked to the battle. It was cool to see the battle droid.
Mhm.
Same voice, everything. I was like, this is good callbacks. And like you said, he starts kicking the droids.
Yep.
He's like this, dun, dun, dun. And then finally one of the droids is like, oh, okay, I'm out. And
Yeah.
he starts running. And it's a great chase scene through the city, I thought,
It is.
to get
Yeah.
that droid.
That was cool.
And they got him. And then it leads them back to...
Well, that's where they get that piece.
Yeah, and
they
that
take-
tells them, well,
Well,
This is designed
that's
by-
and then they go to the bar, and the guy in the bar is like, "Well, we have all of these.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's not a big deal."
Right, but then they go to the
And that-
technician, and the
right.
technician's like, "Yo, there's nanorobots in here,"
Yeah.
and then one of the droids that's with them turns and tries to kill them all with lasers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they realize that if they turn it, it's an actual language. That's what's it called? Chain code.
Chain
Yeah.
code that the Trade Federation used to use
Yes.
during the Clone Wars.
So they're kind of figuring it out. They go back to Lloyd.
You're a
he's
separatist.
separatist.
Such a
Separatist is a pejorative word.
Sound like a separatist.
I loved it.
Dooku was
This
cut down
episode-
before
Yeah.
he could. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? He was actually right about Dooku.
Yeah.
Dooku was
Listen,
right.
They've been giving callbacks to Dooku a lot in all the shows. In Bad Batch, they went to Dooku's castle.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
And then in Tales of the Jedi, they filled in the Dooku storyline of how he took the stuff out of, well, basically his little origin story of
Right.
being bad, and now this.
It'd be interesting if Dooku comes back as a Sith Force ghost.
If any, well, yeah, but now we don't have Christopher Lloyd to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
leave him gone.
but you could have a younger one. You do a flashback with the younger Dooku, and then
True.
I don't know if that would have the right impact on the audience.
So they solved the mystery.
Did
It's
it.
Christopher Lloyd. Blah blah blah. So now they get to go talk to the Mandalorians. So they show up. Bo-Katan's just like, I gotta take care of this. She's like, well, how you gonna do it? I don't know. I'll figure
Challenge
it out
him.
when I
Yeah,
get there.
figure
it
out when I get there.
So she shows up and basically just challenges the guy
Yeah.
to a duel.
Axe Wolves.
And
or
they,
whatever
yeah,
it is.
Axe Wolves, they have it out. They start banging out, blah, blah, blah. And she wins.
It's pretty deep.
Yeah.
Pretty dope fight.
And Mando's just standing back there with the Darksaber. And
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, but you don't have the Darksaber, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And Mando's like, oh, well, here. And they're like, no, it doesn't work like that, buddy. And he gives a good explanation. He's
He
like,
does, but I
I
think
lost in battle. She picked up the Darksaber and defeated the person that I lost to. Technically, this is hers. And they
He
all
is
think
right.
about it for a second.
I mean,
and they're like, yeah.
it's a nice
Yeah.
little thing. I think he's doing that for her, because I mean, in my mind, I'm like,
But there's no
I'm
other way.
okay with it.
She needs
It's-
that Darksaber. to
yeah,
lead,
it's
you know what I
I'm
mean?
okay with
I was
it.
gonna say,
But I'm
there's
like,
one other way. If there were some badass writers, they would just have her riding in on the
I'm sure
Mythosaur.
she's gonna do that too.
Well, no,
I'm
that'll
sure she's
just
gonna have
complete
the
it.
Darksaber,
Yeah, and riding the
like
Mythosaur.
that.
But
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying, even if she just rode the Mythosaur, they would have to not ignore that. They're
Yeah.
like, she's riding the Mythosaur. We can't turn away from
Yeah.
her. But yeah,
So-
she's gonna show up
but
with the
thi-
freaking
this
Darksaber.
comes with some of the stuff I've been reading online. You remember when Pedro Pascal walked out off the set last year? Well, there came a little change. The focus was going to go off of Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
And
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But now the focus is not just him, but now the Mandalorian
Could be anybody.
could be
really.
anybody, and they're focusing on Bo-Katan a little more. Doesn't mean that Mando is going to be out of the show. Well, there are rumors that he'll die at the end of the season, but he's going to have less of a role. But I see him in the movie that's coming from Dave Filoni.
Oh, it
So
has
I
to
don't
be,
I don't
right?
think he's going to die, and that movie's not coming for 6 years. So
Yeah, but
we'll
we don't
see.
know when that's set though.
But it is set
after
in
all
this
Mando-
universe.
Yeah, it's the end one. Like it's the end game for Mandoverse, basically.
Okay.
But yeah. Any last thoughts?
I've
like
enjoyed
the
every episode this
yeah.
season.
I enjoyed
This
it.
has been the best season since season 1. I mean, it's only season 3, but
I
basically,
don't know. Season 2. I love
Yeah,
season
season
2 with
was
Luke.
really good.
When they brought
Luke-
Luke in
I
at
did
the
the
end.
For
Luke
5
stuff
seconds.
was. I know that was fan service and everybody loved it.
I loved it.
I loved the stuff leading up to that. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
the Bill Burr.
Luke
the
is
Bill
in the
Burr
final
character.
episode of
Gideon
season
with
2. What are we
Darksaber.
talking about?
Hmm?
Luke is in the final episode of season 2.
So, don't judge me.
I'm judging the entire season. The
All
season.
right, this is my opinion. We've
I-
had this talk before.
This is not about an opinion. I'm just saying, you act like there's a whole season of really cool Luke
Cliff,
stuff.
are we going
There's
to have
so-
this argument again?
We're not
these are
having an
why
argument.
I like the season.
You like the season because the final episode
Yes,
blew your
and
load.
that should be good enough for you.
No, it's not good enough for me. Defend yourself.
Season 2 has Ahsoka. We
Which
get-
I enjoy.
And Ahsoka.
That's a great episode. To me,
I'm
the,
just saying.
the best episode of the whole season is the one where they're doing the run where they take the vehicle. Him and Bill Burr take the vehicle.
That's a great.
That's
episode.
my
I love
favorite.
that
That's
episode.
my favorite
Oh
episode
my
of that whole
God.
season. That's an amazing episode. And
I'm-
Bill Burr's amazing
Again,
in that
I
episode.
defend myself in saying there are some good episodes. I didn't feel great about every single episode. This season,
Timothy Oliphant opens the season too,
I love Timothy
Oh,
Oliphant.
yeah.
and we get
Who's
no
this
Cad
guy
Baines
in
and,
the red
and
shirt
Boba.
over here?
Yeah.
I think this season's good, but I would say season 2 is better.
I don't know. I feel like this season.
This season's good.
You
but
gotta
I
stop
hear
with
I
Bo-Katan.
hear
That's
episode
fine.
7.
I mean, I
and 8
do love Bo-Katan,
are
but
gonna
like,
be
no, I'm
some
just having a great time.
Great episodes. The next 2 episodes. That's what I hear.
Are they long? Do we know if they're longer?
I don't know if they're long, but
In the meantime, all the stuff that you named that you liked about season 2 is all the stuff that I liked that happened in Book of Boba Fett. We got Luke, we
Well,
got
those-
Ahsoka, we got
There's
Grogu.
other stuff with that too. Those were supposed to be Mandalorian episodes, but Kathleen Kennedy came in and said we want expanded Mandoverse, and kind of forced Favreau's hand to include that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Listen, I read that. I've read the same things that you are talking
Yes.
about, but I do not. I'm not a fan of the sources of that information.
Well, I bet it, not just one spot.
I know, but all of them who are using the information, the source is, although they may be saying things that are true, are also
unbelievable, right?
someone I don't really care for. So, which I hate when that happens. I really do, because it taints everything.
I hear you, but that's the game now. You know what I mean?
This is why I don't read that
It's
stuff.
the
I just
game.
enjoy it for what it is.
All right. So that's Mando episode 6. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. We'll be back next week with episode 7. We got playlists, tons of stuff. You want to watch the rest of our Mando videos, click the Mando playlist and go check it out. So for myself, for Green Shirt Guy, for Phil, and lovely Cliff in the middle. we love
You know what? Do we have a playlist for season 2 of Mando?
No, we started with season 3.
Damn.
But we could go back and
We
do
can always
that
go
eventually.
back.
No, it's not fun for me.
All right, whatever. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.
This world is